Well, I'm coming live at you at 6:54 this morning. Baby's sick. This is the life of a mom. So I need you to watch these 9 questions being worked out and then work version 2 after I've done version 1. So version 1 is your original test. And how I would like you to do it is watch the question for number 1, press pause, do version 2, number 1. Come back to the video, watch version 1, number 2, go to your version 2 and do number 2. Press pause, watch the video for number 3, press pause, do number 3 on version 2. So that's kind of how I want you to do it. I want you to hear the problem and see me do it, press pause, do the problem on your version 2. At the end of the class, version 1 and version 2 should be submitted to Blend to prove that you did what you were supposed to do in the 90 minutes that you're given. Okay? So number 1, you're going to need a highlighter and a marker from under your desk. So get those out now. Highlight exactly what I tell you to highlight, and just do what I do so that when you're doing it on your version 2, it's going to look like I'm modeling in version 1, your original test. Okay? So on number 1, I want you to take the highlighter and highlight the -4. My copy got messed up. -4 is our y-intercept, so highlight it in both places. Then you can go ahead and put your first point on the y-intercept. So our b value is -4, b is -4, and our slope is 2/5, which means we're going to go up 2 and to the right 5. So up 2 and to the right 5 would put me right here on the 5 line, and then up 2 and over 5 would put me right there on the x-intercept. X is 10. Now we're going to go backwards. We're going to go down and to the left. Down 2 and to the left 5, which puts me on the -5 line, and then down 2 more and puts me on the -10 line. Now, in order for this to be a line, I have to connect my points. That is how you do number 1. Press pause and do your number 1 on your version 2. Okay, for number 2, we will first take our highlighters and highlight the y-intercept. A y-intercept is when x is 0, then your y value is your y-intercept. So our y value is 7. Anytime x is 0, the y-intercept would be the number next to the x. So in this case, it's 0, 7. So our y-intercept is 7. The next thing you want to do is find the slope, which is the change on the y. 15 minus 4 is 11. And the change on the x, -2 plus 1 gives me -1. If you were using your calculator and you didn't know how to do it in your head like I just did, you would take our second value, subtract the first value. 11 minus 15, enter, that would give you -4. And then -1, subtract -2, that would give you a +1. So if the numbers aren't friendly to you, then use your calculator to find that difference. 11 minus 15 is -4, and -1 subtracting -2 is +1. Now, where I noticed people messed up, if you got -4 and if you got +1, you flipped them on the slope. Remember, slope is the change on the y divided by the change on the x. So the change on the y was -4. The change on the x was +1. Then you go to Desmos and type in -4 divided by 1, and your final answer for slope is -4. Now, to put it all together in an equation, you literally use both answers in the equation. Y equals -4x plus 7. Remember that slope is multiplied to the x. Now to find your x-intercept, remember another name for x-intercept is a 0. You're going to use Desmos. And because you already found the equation, Desmos will be super fast and easy. -4x plus 7. So we go back to the y equals -4x plus 7. You can touch the screen and it'll say the x-intercept is 1.75. You can touch the screen and the y-intercept is 0,7. Notice in both intercepts, the 0 is in one of the x or y places. So when you have an x-intercept, the y value is 0 because you're on the x-axis. So y has to be 0. Same thing here for the y-intercept. You're on the y-axis. So your x-coordinate has to be 0 for you to be up on the y-axis. So 1.75 is our answer. Pause and do your version number 2. I want to see the highlight on the y-intercept. I want to see the highlight in the table, and I want to see the numbers on the side of your table. I want to see the fact that you wrote change in y over change in x, so you remember y is on top, x is on the bottom. Everything that I've modeled, I need to see on your version 2. Go ahead and press pause and get that done. Okay, for number 3, we have solving for y, which automatically means I'm going to box the y. I'm going to distribute -2 times x, and I'm going to distribute -2 times -5. The most common mistake on the test was telling me that answer was a -10. But remember, -2 times -5 is not a -10. It says it's a +10. Of course, if you type it into Desmos wrong, it's going to give you a wrong answer. So you have to remember that you have to type in the 2 signs before the 2 numbers. So this makes a +10. Recopy the left side. And now we're ready to get the y by itself now that we have simplified the other side. So we would do the opposite of -3. We would do +3. And there is the equation solved for y. All right. So press pause and do number 3 on your version. And again, check with your partner around you to make sure what you got on your version 2 is what they got on their version 2. Okay? All right, welcome back. So for number 4, we're going to solve for y yet again, but it's a different form. It's a standard form. So we're going to box the y just like we did in number 3. Now we're going to think outside the box, which is 4x. I need to do the opposite of 4x, which is -4x. Notice I'm not putting the 4x underneath the 10. Notice it's on the side of the 10. And notice I have a little child creeping into my window. Because it's 7:03 and we haven't gone to school yet. Nonetheless, 4x minus 4x is 0. Kinsley, don't bother her. She doesn't feel good. Oh, okay. Now we have one last step. So if you got this first step right, great. you knew to minus 4x, but where some students made a mistake was on the second step. You didn't acknowledge that that's a -1 next to y. And that means it's multiplying a -1 times y. So the opposite of multiply is divide. Now I can divide everything by -1 and get y equals -10. And this turns into a positive 4x. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. Okay. Press pause, solve number 4 for y, and then come back to the video and let's do number 5. Okay, number 5, I like to say is just a matter of you guys not labeling and not paying attention specifically. I mean, number 5 is like a matching game. And if you don't label, you're going to get things mixed up. So my desire is for you to label both the x and the y as x and y. And let's call this the 1s and let's call this the 2s. So on your paper, I need to see very small your x1, y1 and your x2, y2. Then I want you to take your highlighter again. Let's highlight the y values so that you can see these are the numbers for y. Because what I'm noticing when people are doing this question, you're doing an x and a y together in the formula, and that doesn't make any sense. The formula has a y minus a y divided by an x minus an x. So we need to put the y's right there on the top. Guys, it's literally matching. So I'm going to draw a really long divided by sign for a fraction. I'm going to put the number for y2 first. My y2 is -7. I'm going to write a subtraction sign. And then it says y1. And y1 is 3. Now I'm going to use the x2. My x2 is a 1. I'm going to use a subtraction sign. And my x1 is a -4. So the other mistake I noticed that people would make is you wouldn't put the -4 in the formula. You saw a minus and just left it 1 minus 4. Well, that is not what the question says. 1 is x2, minus is the formula, but you can't plug in a +4 when you're given a -4. So that's another common mistake as I graded those papers over the weekend is you didn't plug in the number they told you to plug in. So you're going to get the wrong answer. All right, now we're going to use Desmos. -7 minus 3. -7 minus 3 is -10. And 1 minus -4 is a +5. Oh, that's a coincidence because -10 does divide by 5 nicely, and the answer is -2. So that answer is -10. That answer is +5, and -10 divided by +5 is -2. All right, so what I want to see on your paper for version 2 is the y values highlighted, the y value in the formula highlighted, and then I want to see all 4 numbers correctly plugged in. You are going to get a fraction, and I want you to reduce it as a fraction. All right, press pause and do your number 5. Oh, I guess that doesn't do anything. Okay, number 6. It says, given the graph, find the key features of the line and write the equation. So next, I want you to get your highlighter out. I want you to highlight that our y-intercept is -6. That should be an easy peasy thing. So now put -6 on your y-intercept line. I want you to get the marker that I told you to have out, not a highlighter, a marker. Circle the x-intercept, I can't really circle that. I'm just going to highlight it in a different highlighter. And the 0 is 4. So where the line crosses the x-axis is called the 0. All right, and now let's zoom in to find the slope. There's 2 points. All I need to do is count the spaces. Up 1, up 2, up 3, over 1, over 2. So our slope is 3 over 2. And remember, the equation only uses the slope and the y-intercept. It doesn't use the x-intercept. So y equals 3 over 2x minus 6. That is the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. So press pause. Remember, on your paper, I need to see the circled x-intercept. I need to see the highlighted y-intercept, exactly how I have modeled. Okay, for number 7, we have write the equation of a line through the point -4, 6 with the slope m equals -3. So what that means is I'm going to label the point as an x and a y, and it tells me m is -3. I'm going to just literally copy those into my x equals, y equals, and m equals, okay? We know that everyone is very capable of doing that. That doesn't take a lot of math skills. You've been dealing with x comma y since the 5th grade. From here, we're going to remember that y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form. And I want you guys to circle that. And remember, the one thing I noticed when people made a mistake on number 7 is because they didn't multiply an m and an x together. And m and an x together means I'm multiplying those two things together. And then I'm going to add b after I multiply m and x. So looks like our 6 is our y. Our m is -3. Notice I'm putting a parenthesis around x because that's what good mathematicians do when it's multiplication. And we don't know b, so we put plus b. Now, we're going to multiply -3 times -4. Well, go to Desmos, use your calculator. -3 times -4 is +12. And then some of you guys stopped right here and like didn't finish the problem, and you were so close, I was confused why you stopped. This is solving an equation that we did in September. Solve for b, get the b by itself. So we're gonna -12 to both sides. I know, boo-boo bop. I know. Pokey, pokey. I know. Okay, so b is your y-intercept. Now you know b and you know m. You can write your final equation. Y equals, my m was -3 and my b is -6. Remember, in your final equation, you have to see the letter y and you have to see the letter x. So some people were putting 4 numbers for the equation. I know, we're going to go to the doctor. Okay, now pause and complete number 7 on your version 2. Okay, version 1, original test number 8. I know, sweetie. Go get Kinsley. Okay, never mind. Latrice shops curbside at H-E-B. Halloween candy went on sale for $2.50 a bag. The personal shopper fee is only $5. Okay, I don't know what you want. Help Latrice write the equation to represent her total cost, T of B. The number of bags of candy she buys, B, and the shopper fee. So we can't forget about the shopper fee. A lot of you understood the gist of this question, but you didn't include the $5 shopping fee. It's there for a reason. So my total cost at H-E-B is represented by T of B because it told us T of B is total cost. Now, when you go to HEB, you're going to have to pay a $5 shopper fee, and you're spending $2.50 a bag on your Halloween candy. So when it says how much does 10 bags of candy cost, you have to include the $5 fee because the $5 fee is in the equation. So the total cost of 10 bags would be $5 plus $2.50 times 10 bags. So that's what you type into Desmos. 5 plus 2.5 times 10. 5 plus 2.5 times 10. $30. All right, so the total cost of 10 bags is $30. That's how you would write it in function notation. I know it's hard. It's hard being a sickie. Okay, how many bags of candy would she buy if she only had $20 to spend? So here they're not telling me how many bags she buys. They're telling me they only have $20. So $20 is their total cost. So $20 would equal, and then the normal equation is $5 plus $2.50 a bag. So first thing you're going to do is solve for B. You're going to minus 5 to both sides. I know, sweetie. I know. Then you can divide by 250. Now you're going to get B equals 6. There are 6 bags of candy that you can buy. All right, pause, press mute, complete number 8 on your version 2. Okay. Last question, I'm going to power through this. We've got X, we've got Y in our point. Today we want to do perpendicular. Take your highlighter out. You're going to highlight the word perpendicular. And I also want you to write that, remember, perpendicular lines have opposite, reciprocal slope. We're almost done, dude. We're on number 9. Okay, so again, X is -2, Y is +5. Here's the tricky part. They're giving me the slope of the line, and I have to find the new line perpendicular to that slope. So the original slope, M, is a -2 divided by 3. So any perpendicular slope has to be what I just highlighted. Has to be opposite, negative, positive, and reciprocal. Flip the numbers on the fraction. So because that's negative, this one's going to be positive. And because that's 2 divided by 3, it's going to be 3 divided by 2. That's the slope you needed to be successful on problem number 9. So then it's the same thing as problem number 7. You put the 5 under the Y, you put your M, which is positive 3 over 2. Your X is -2 in parentheses, and then you're having to find your B. So 3 divided by 2 times -2. 3 divided by 2. Here we go. 3 divided by 2 times -2 is -3. So -3 plus B equals 5. Almost done. Now we're going to add 3 to both sides. Now you can see that your B is equal to 8. Now that you have your B, now that you have your new y-intercept, you are ready to write your equation of the line. Now my computer wants to freeze and not write, so we're going to give it another second. Okay, here we go. We need this new perpendicular slope with that new y-intercept, and now we can write the equation of a line perpendicular to the one that they gave us. Y equals 3 over 2x plus 8. So I can type that in. Y equals 3 over 2x plus 8. I can write the old equation, which was y equals -2 over 3x plus 7. Y equals -2 over 3x x plus 7. Now, right now that doesn't look very perpendicular, but if you fix that the x and the y axis are counting by the same space, now you guys can see, if you take a piece of paper and you stick it onto the screen, it's a perfect 90-degree angle. But if you make your axes weird, it's not going to look 90 degrees or perpendicular. So you have to make sure your x and y axis are evenly spaced so that that blue line and that red line intersection right here is a 90-degree angle. Okay. All right. We got to go to school. We got to go to the doctor. Thanks for persevering through. Make sure you have photocopied both and uploaded to Blend so you get your full credit. All right. Give thanks.